So I just walked in the house and I realized that the Nintendo Switch emulator Ryujinx has been taken down. Nintendo came to the developers, or the lead developers, saying, "Look, it might be a good idea that it might be a good idea to stop doing this." So when Nintendo comes for you, you know what time it is. I'm going to talk about this, give my thoughts and opinions, and let's just talk about it. If you found this video through your recommendations, I appreciate you clicking on this. If you don't mind, you want to hang around a little bit, subscribe to the channel. Over here, I talk about gaming and everything under that umbrella, from retro to modern stuff. And also, I'm trying to get to 1,000 subs by the end of the year. So with your guys' help, we can make it happen. So let's just talk about this really quick. Not too long ago, I talked about what was it? Yeah, the other emulator, Yuzu. I talked about that when that was taken down and people was all up in arms. And I'm pretty sure people are going to talk about this one as well and say that, they feel some kind of way about this. But I'm going to tell you something about this whole situation, right? The problem with this is this emulator was made way too early, both of them. And Nintendo caught wind of it and they shut it down. Now, I know people talk about, well, what about the Dolphin or whatever the case may be? Well, the Dolphin was made as well, but they kind of kept things low key. They didn't garner that much attention. With the Yuzu emulator, they were patching games and trying to fix games and being bold about it. And, Ryujin wasn't really like that, but, when Yuzu was taken down, you knew that Ryujin was next. So when you make an emulator too early, you got to keep it under wraps. You can't be boasting and have it too mainstream for it to be noticed. And when Nintendo noticed it, that's a wrap. And it is what it is. So I'm not surprised that Ryujin was taken down. I'm not surprised at it at all. Actually, I'm surprised it didn't happen right after Yuzu. But for the most part, a lot of people are going to be a little upset about this because all about preservation and everything. And I'm not that big of a emulator guy. Don't get me wrong. I do have them on my PC for preservation. I do have the emulators. I don't have like all the ROMs or anything like that, but I do have the emulators just to see if I can run certain games or whatever for the purpose of having it. But at the end of the day, I don't use them for gaming. I don't use them for, I like to play regular hardware. And, it's just my thing. But I do like the fascination behind them, but it's not the end all be all, or it's not a priority for me to have them. If I get rid of them on my PC, they're gone. I don't care. But a lot of people stand by this stuff. And a lot of people like to play this way. A lot of people like to build a PC just to have all these emulators on one device. And that's cool. I don't have an issue with that. But you got to understand what you're stepping into. I don't have a problem with it. If you want to do whatever you want to do with your games, that's cool. But these companies, preferably Nintendo, they don't like this type of stuff. And they will come for you, at any given moment. And they'll put the hammer on you, legal hammer on you, if they need to, or if they want to. And I mean, that's just how it is. So when I was really shocked when Yuzu was actually running and they started doing the whole thing with the Breath of the Wild stuff. And I was like, yo, y'all can't be doing this to these games, trying to play them early, finding out why it don't work on your emulator, trying to patch games that are just being released, make your own. You can't do that type of stuff. But that's what they do when emulation happens. I mean, these guys are geniuses. A lot of them do great work, but you got to tread lightly. In my opinion, this emulator should have been done a lot later down the road. And if you did do it early, you got to keep this stuff on the wraps. My thing would be wait till the Switch 2 come out, then start talking about it, or just wait down the road to actually make it a thing. A lot of people knew about Dolphin. I think it came out like in 2003, but it kind of stayed under the radar until like 2015, probably earlier than that, because I really didn't start talking about or thinking about Dolphin until like 2014, 2015. And that's when things started to take off. But by then, I mean, the Wii U was out and they were on to something else, So you gotta be careful when you putting this stuff out there. Like, Nintendo just came for them as like, look, you might want to take this down. We don't want to, go the legal route. And hey, when they say that, hey, you ain't got to tell me twice. And I think that's what happened here. And for the most part, it is what it is, guys. This is just how it goes with Nintendo. You could probably get away with this with Sony. I heard they're doing like, PS4 emulation right now, that's out right now. PS3 emulation taking off. Xbox 360 emulation is doing pretty good. Nobody really talks about original Xbox emulation. That's kind of interesting. And I think I just saw Modern Vintage Gamer just talk about Xbox One games being ran on PC, which kind of defeats the purpose. I mean, they're kind of putting their games on PC. Never mind, you know what I mean. But when it comes to Nintendo, look, they want you to play on their products and nothing else. They're not playing around. You mess around and try to do anything, mess with their games, mess with their ROMs, reverse engineer, all this, that, and the third, you're probably going to get a knock on the door, so you got to tread lightly with this stuff. In my opinion, I would wait until, probably when the next console comes out before you start talking about emulating the last console, or, that's what I would do. When the Switch 2 comes out, probably a year after the Switch 2 is out, you probably want to start talking about making another Switch emulator, because even though Nintendo may still come for you, it probably it probably won't be as hard or as swift because they're focused on their new console. You don't want to emulate a console while they're still trying to sell this stuff. Like, it blew my mind when people was trying to, figure out ways to get Bayonetta 3 and Breath of the Wild Tears of the Kingdom working on their Switch or on their emulator before the game even came out. I thought that was, I was like, you're asking for it at that point. You're asking for it. So, I mean, with that being said, what do y'all think? Y'all think it's crazy? You think that Nintendo's still being too heavy-handed? What are your thoughts and opinions? I mean, for me, I'm just not surprised. I'm just not. At the end of the day, you got to understand who you're dealing with. And when you try to emulate a console that's still being sold on the shelves, you're kind of asking for it. You know what I mean? You're kind of asking for to be, be in litigation. I mean, I'm not against emulation, but you have to be a little bit smarter than this. But I don't blame Ryujinx. I think that, they tried to stay low key after the Yuzu situation, but Nintendo was like, hey, you might want to kill this off. So I expect that the Switch emulation will happen maybe the next 3-4 years. It'll come back, and whoever's doing it, they're going to take their time and pretty much make sure they don't get caught or anything. That's just my opinion, because by then Nintendo will probably be on to something else in with their next console and not necessarily worry about this. But you can't, I'll say this again, you cannot emulate a console at the same time it's being sold on shelves. That's crazy. Don't do that, especially by Nintendo. But I'm out of here. I'll talk to you guys later. Like, share, and subscribe. I got other videos coming your way as well. And I'll talk to you then. All right, y'all, I'm out. Peace.